Hello everyone, I'm Aishwarya, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Sithalakshmi Ramaswamy College, Trichy. In this video, we will have a glance at Age of Dr. Johnson. In this video, we will learn about an introduction to the age of Dr. Johnson, and we will also learn who Dr. Johnson is, the characteristics of poetry during the age of Dr. Johnson, and the characteristics of prose during the age of Johnson. The age of Dr. Johnson in English literature begins at the second half of the 18th century. It dates from 1745 to 1798. As Dr. Samuel Johnson is the representative writer of his period, this period is named after him. It is also an era of change from neoclassicism to romanticism. Therefore, this age is also known as the age of transition. General characteristics of the age of Dr. Johnson. This period is characterized by a mild renaissance of learning. The new generation reacted against the arid writing of the preceding age, which is the Augustan age. The characteristics of Augustan age is the writing is meant for enlightenment rather than entertainment. The writing was for mind rather than for the heart. This new audience, they began to crave something more natural and spontaneous in thought and language. The birth of romantic spirit is also called as the age of transition. Now, let us see about Dr. Samuel Johnson. Dr. Samuel Johnson was born on 18th September 1709 at Lichfield. He is a multifaceted genius. According to the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography, he is arguably one of the most distinguished men of letters in English history. He is a poet, essayist, literary critic, biographer, editor, and also a lexicographer. After 8 years of his immense hard work, a dictionary of English language was published in 1755. Dr. Samuel Johnson's largest and greatest work, The Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets, with critical observation on their works, was published in 1779 to 81. This is alternatively known by its shorter title, The Lives of the Poets. It comprises of the short biographies and critical appraisals of 52 poets who lived during the 17th and the 18th century. Dr. Samuel Johnson died in 1784 and he was buried in the Westminster Abbey. Now, let us look into some of the important works of Dr. Johnson. Life of Mr. Savage, published in the year 1744, is the first major biography by Dr. Johnson. London is a poem published in the year 1738. Iron is his only play. It is a neoclassical tragedy. It is published in the year 1738. The Vanity of Human Wishes is also a poem published in 1749. The Dictionary of English Language was published in 1755. The Life of Sir Thomas Browne is also another biography published in the year 1756. Lives of the Poets is collection of biography of the poets from 17th and 18th century. It is published between 1779 to 1781. Now, let us look into the general characteristics of transitional poetry. Transitional poetry is the reaction against the classical rules and the revival of romanticism. The classicism is all about the social and political life of London. The transitional poets, they return to nature, earth and air. Humanism is another key feature in the transitional poetry. Intense human feelings were felt for the poor and the oppressed. Written to the old themes like supernatural elements, ballads are seen in the transitional poetry. James Thomson is one of the important poets of this age. Seasons, it is a collection of 4 poems. It is written in blank verse and it celebrates and explores the variety of nature. The another poem, The Castle of Indolence, was written in Spenserian stanza. It was considered outdated when it was written, but later it influenced many romantic poets like Byron, Wordsworth and Keats. Oliver Goldsmith is another important poet of this age. His noteworthy poems are The Traveller and The Deserted Village. The Traveller is written in heroic verse and it is still considered as a classic mid 18th century poetry. The Deserted Village glorifies the rural life that are destroyed due to the economic and political change. Thomas Gray is the most important transitional poet. His Ode on the Spring declares that nothing is as beautiful as the spring, and his elegy written in the country churchyard is a elegy poem. It mourns about the death of the common men. The next important poet of this age is William Collins. He is noted for his odes. His most important odes are Ode to Fear, ode occasioned by the death of Mr. Thompson, Ode to Peace. The another important writer is William Cowper. His important poems are The Task, On the Receipt of My Mother's Picture. Prose of the age of Johnson. Prose had remarkable development during the age of Dr. Johnson. Some of the well-known writers are Samuel Johnson, Edmund Burke, and Edward Gibbon. Samuel Johnson's notable proses are The Rambler, The Idler, Dictionary, and The Lives of Poets. Edmund Burke is also another important writer of this age. He worked as a member of parliament for over 30 years. He was also a political philosopher. His notable prose are Thoughts on the Present Discontent, The Reflection of the French Revolution, and On American Taxation, which is a speech given by Edmund Burke. Another important writer is Edward Gibbon. He was the first historian to write in literary manner. His important prose work is The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. So these three are the most important prose writer of the age of Dr. Johnson. Thank you for watching the video.